In a world where Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok are major search engines for style and ways of engaging with fashion, I think it has become easy to lose sight of what having personal style really is or means. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Essy, and on this channel we are all about fashion, thrifting, lifestyle, vlogs, that sort of thing. So if you are into that, stick around. Don't get me wrong, we are not immune to trends and the changing fashion landscape. So, when a trend starts to rise that piques our interest, it's not a sin to like it. In fact, I think as fashion is cyclical, it's likely that from time to time, very likely, from time to time, we will come across something, or it will offer something that genuinely aligns with us, our taste, our style, that genuinely piques our interest, because it will remind us or show us aspects of a style that we've forgotten, or a new way to style it, a new way to approach it. So trends in themselves are not evil, they're not bad. I'm not poo-pooing the idea of enjoying a trend or joining in with one as a whole directly, but it still feels like so much of what we buy is governed by aesthetics and trends and micro trends and niches and all those buzzwords. My hot take, that's cool, but that's conformity. That's lazy. To me, buying into an aesthetic is buying a fashion starter pack. And hear me out, conformity is an easy way to engage in fashion, right? It's a way to feel a part of something fun and new and bigger than you. Fashion is huge, it's everywhere. And in all honesty, I think joining in with a trend, conforming in that way, is a good place to start if you're wanting to be a part of something new that's happening. But if you want to find your personal style, you're gonna have to come off the cookie cutter path. And we all do it. We've all done it. It's easier to engage in fashion in ways that has been predefined, in ways that have been tried and tested and, loved by people, loved by you. And we like to be told clearly what to do by people who we think know what they're doing and have seemingly experienced a level of success from doing said thing. But the truth is, you already have style. The same way you already have a personality. So the problem is, you haven't taken time to get to know it. So here's some of the reasons why I think owning your personal style is hard and copying others is easier. And this is speaking from experience. I'm not perfect. This is definitely coming from a place I've been there, done that too. So let's just run through them. I think number one is aesthetic hunting. I'm calling it aesthetic hunting, aesthetics collecting. You're a hunter, you're a collector, you are a hunter-gatherer, okay? And you are hung up on an aesthetic or the idea of aesthetic and trying to find names for an aesthetic and labels for what you enjoy. But what do you do with that information? When you've found the name for it, how does that help you solve your problems? How does that help you understand you better? It doesn't. Baby girl, it doesn't. If I see one more comment under a Pinterest post asking, what aesthetic is this? I will combust. I will combust. Defining an aesthetic and giving it a name rather than using it to understand what it is you love about it so much is the problem. That's your problem. You are so preoccupied with trying to fit yourself into the mold of an aesthetic rather than trying to understand how that aesthetic fits into you. What part of it agrees and aligns with you? How that connects with you? What is it? Why do you like that top or that color or that fabric or that style, that silhouette, that shape so much? You are thinking too surface level and looking for an aesthetic and to understand an aesthetic rather than to understand yourself via the medium of an aesthetic. When I was thinking about this video, I was thinking about the time last year or maybe 2 years ago where it was peak summer and naturally I couldn't wait for it to be autumn, and so I kind of went down a rabbit hole, and I think I talked about it in one of the videos I posted a while ago. I went down a rabbit hole of trying to find essentially like a Bella Swan inspired wardrobe, pieces for a wardrobe inspired by Bella Swan from Twilight, because to me it screams autumn. To me it felt like what I wanted to feel in that moment. It's too hot outside and I'd much rather it be crisp and cozy and cool and brown, and I wanted to be Bella Swan. I wanted to be Elena Gilbert, you know, like. And so I did it. I made the mistake of spending a lot of time and money trying to purchase the perfect Henley top, and like looking for flare jeans, and like, girl, it's a pitfall we all fall into. But back then what I didn't realize was, what I needed to understand was that I really enjoy autumn fashion, fall fashion. I really enjoy the colors in fall fashion. I really enjoy the sense of warmth and coziness in fall fashion. And so I should have been thinking about my wardrobe from that angle rather than directly copy and lifting and shifting the exact pieces into my wardrobe. When writers and producers create a TV show and write up TV characters, they do not start from their wardrobe. They start from their personality. They start from who they are, where they live, what their story is, what it is they want to portray through this character. They do not start from whether or not they're wearing a Henley t-shirt and what colors they come in. So that's the perspective. I think if you're a person that tends to fall into this trap, you need to shift and focus on not what an aesthetic is called, but why it appeals to you. Okay, so the second reason I think finding your personal style is hard and copying others and conforming is easier is something that I call aesthetic confinement. It is literally imprisoning yourself to one or two aesthetics, probably. The problem is you think that you need to fit into a box because understandably it's easier to handle your style from the perspective of, oh, it's just this one thing. It always is and it always will be. And I get it, because also financially it's a lot easier to shop for one particular style. It makes it easier on the brain, easier on your wallet, easier logically, easier for you to understand and cope with and define and explain to others, explain to yourself, right? But the baby girl, this is where we're mixing it up. It's wrong. Scratch it. No, you are made up of so much as a person, every individual person. We all say no two people are alike. We're all very unique, and that is true when it comes to finding your personal style. If you are so unique, there's nobody else like you, you should apply that to your style and understanding that your style is you, and you are made up of so much. You're made up of your experiences, you're made up of your culture, you're made up of your environment and external influences, internal influences. So much makes up you, and so you cannot expect yourself to fit firmly into just one aesthetic, one category, one style. And if you take on the surface level just your general interest, maybe it's the kind of movies you're interested in or the kind of music you listen to. If a person dresses as just that one thing, that's fine. But what happens when you are so multifaceted as a person that you happen to like rock music, but then you also really happen to like, I don't know, K-pop? I often like to think of personal style a bit like a Venn diagram. I mean, it's not the most perfect analogy, but the idea is there. The idea is that we are almost blobs, circle. We're made up of multiple different things and they tend to overlap. And where things overlap, there's a saturation of color. And that color, I think, is what shines through in the things you then wear day to day. That's how I picture it in my head. And like I said, it's not the perfect analogy, but if you think about it in terms of like the things you like on a general level, the kind of music, the kind of things you like to do, the kind of, you know, places you like to visit, or the things that make you happy and excited, if you plot that on a Venn diagram and made each of them a circle and you put them all together, where your greatest loves are, I think, is where things are going to overlap. And that middle point, that saturation, is where you and your style probably is. So think about that one for a minute. Also, with that being said, seeing as you're made up of so much, you enjoy so much, you're a multifaceted, interesting person, you will then have to realize that you will change. Your interests, your likes, your wants, your needs will change. Your environment will change. And so your aesthetic, your personal style will likely change and evolve too. Therefore, pointing to my point that you cannot confine yourself to one or two aesthetics. You are a multifaceted being. So aesthetic confinement is probably, I think, another major reason why we struggle so much finding our own style, because we're wanting to fit into a box that's been predefined by somebody else. So yeah. Number three is what I'm going to call the basics trap. You don't have the basics. You have flashy statement pieces, but no foundation. It's random, it's incoherent, and you know, it doesn't really make sense for a lot of situations. Or on the flip side, you only have the basics and you don't ever move out of that. You're maybe too scared, you're not sure how other pieces would work with your wardrobe, you're not sure what pieces to introduce, you're too scared to try something new, whatever it is, but it's a basics trap. And basics are very great because they work for a lot of day-to-day situations. They're very functional until you have to dress up or do something formal, and then you're stuck. That's number three. Number four is what I like to call the effort gap. The effort gap can occur because we like two seemingly opposing things in our style, in our taste, and therefore it's a lot of effort to bring them together in a way that flows visually and is actually wearable day to day, is functional, it makes sense. It makes sense for our pocket as well, for our finances. It's easier to just pick one thing and stick to it and, you know, always buy that thing, you know it works. But when you've got two seemingly opposing styles, maybe you're really into street style, you know, fashion, very maybe casual, very loud, very bold, but then on the other hand, you actually quite like being dressed up and very smart and suited and tailored. Like, how do you bring those two things together? That effort of bringing those two things that you enjoy, that you like together in your wardrobe, in your space, takes more effort than just picking one and stick to it. So the effort gap is, I think, another reason why people don't pursue their style. It's easier to just copy somebody, or if they found somebody they think is already doing that, it's easier to copy them because it's a formula that they think works. But the problem is, it may work for them, but is it gonna work for you? Also, the effort gap means that if you do bravely put the effort into bringing two things together that probably wouldn't be put together by the masses, it means you can stand out a lot compared to somebody else who's going for something simpler, less complicated, less opposing. And I think standing out is another type of effort. Choosing to stand out, or choosing things that mean you will stand out, is hard. It's effort, and it's harder than blending in. And so it's easier for people to fall in line, to conform, to copy, than to pursue their own personal style. Okay, so the last reason I think we struggle to pursue our own personal style and conform instead is instant gratification. I think this is one that I also have fallen into. It's hard to accept that style often comes with time. Understanding our personal style is something that comes with trial and error, which is why I said I'm not against trends, I'm not against trying things, but knowing that you still need to get up to date and put some clothes on your body to get to where you need to be means that it's easier to spend the money on a cookie cutter, a starter pack, an aesthetic, the key intro pieces to being, I don't know, fairycore or whatever it is. And so that instant gratification is like probably one of the biggest pitfalls that we all fall into. It comes with time, it comes with age, it comes with experiences, it comes with knowledge, it comes with exposure, and let's be honest, it comes with having money. And so that's probably one of the biggest of all the ones I've mentioned, reasons that we fall into this trap of copying other people instead of pursuing our own personal style. So I've talked a lot about all the reasons why we do it and why we shouldn't do it anymore, but I guess this video wouldn't have any real value if I didn't talk about like how to fix that. Uncovering your style is simple because it only requires two things, which is you paying attention and you being intentional. I make a point of saying uncovering because, like I said, you already have style. Style is within you. You already have a personality. It's already comes part of you. It's just about taking the time to pay attention and to be intentional. Be more intentional in the things you like and save online, not just scrolling and saving blindly and from a surface level, because it's a great pastime. The things you save, obviously, the algorithms are going to give you more of that. So if you're actually not being true to yourself and paying attention to, do you actually like this? Or on a surface level, does it just look pretty? I think that will help you find and understand your style better. And with paying attention, pay attention not just to what you like, but what you dislike. Pay attention to the patterns in your wardrobe right now. What are the things that you cannot let go of? Why? Ask yourself why. Actually question things. Ask yourself why. What are the things that make you gasp? For me, that's how I know I love something. I tend to try and only buy things I adore. My motto, I've said it in a different video, if it's not stunning, I don't want it. If to me, it's not gasp worthy, I do not want it. What is the point? I want everything I own to be stunning to me, because otherwise, what is the point? So with things like Pinterest, don't pin blindly. I personally have adopted this thing where I have a board called interesting ... And basically I save things that when I see them, they make me gasp, but I don't understand why yet. I save things that are interesting, and not just fashion items. It can be interiors, it can be whatever it is. It can just be a color. I dump them all in this board called interesting. And I find it's a really great way of tracking outliers, and it's a great place to go for inspiration. When I kind of feel bored with fashion, my own kind of wardrobe or whatever, I kind of go and I realize that, oh, there's all these things that like I like, but I don't know why, or I don't know why yet. And it's a great way to track what it is in your personal style that you'll be loving more and more as time goes on. I think if you guys want another video about like how I kind of track and evolve my personal style and the things I do to understand it better, I can definitely make another video about that, but I kind of don't want to spend too much time on it in this video. So another way I would suggest, a tip, is to actually just write things down in your notes app, just in a journal, whatever. Make a note of the things that you like, or the things that you find you need and why. So what's missing in your wardrobe? When you get dressed, every time you get dressed, you're like, oh, I wish I had a belt with a silver buckle. I only have a belt with a gold buckle. And it ruins the outfits because today I really want to wear silver jewelry. Whatever it is, make a note of that somewhere. I use the reminders app on my phone. I have an iPhone. I have a list of clothing things I want or need, like house things I want or need. Make a list. It's simple. Another thing that I really recommend is if you're at a point where you're like, I've had enough of my wardrobe, I really want to truly figure out my own style, have a clear out, babe. It's a tale as old as time. Have a clear out. And the things that you really, really love are the things that should stay. The things you don't feel sure about, put them in one side, put them in a corner, think on them. The things that are just an absolute no, do not be afraid to donate them. Somebody else will love that item, but you're not loving it. And it's okay to not let it take up room anymore. But not just for the exercise of getting things out of your wardrobe and donating them, I think it's a really great exercise to have a clear out, because through having a clear out, the things that you keep, I think you will start to see them in a different light. If you play dress up and take pictures of the things that you love, the outfits that you love, you will start to understand what's missing in your wardrobe. If you take pictures of them, you can refer back to the things you love later on. When you're trying to think of an outfit for that event that you've got coming up in a week, it's going to be helpful. And so it'll help you then think, okay, when I'm next in the thrift store, when I'm next in the store, when I'm shopping online, what do I need to buy? Moving on quickly because my battery is dying. Similarly, apps and websites. Every girly out there, I think shopping is like, it's a love, it's a passion for the most of us. So if you're spending all that time on apps and websites and looking at things you wish you could buy, why don't you pay attention to what those things are? Most apps, most websites will have like a section where you can add things to your wish list. Go to that wish list and look at everything you've liked, because in there will be a story, in there will be a pattern, in there will be things that point towards what your personal style is. Another way to pay attention and to be intentional is to create mood boards. And I know that sounds so like hypocritical, considering like I've kind of talked about Pinterest and people trying to just find aesthetics and pin together an aesthetic just on the surface level. But I do still think that creating mood boards, especially outside of Pinterest, is really, really valuable. My favorite way to create a mood board is with GoodNotes. I think there's other things that you can use as well, like Milanote is a great way of creating a mood board, Sublime, aside from Pinterest, but GoodNotes is my favorite tool. I think it's really great, especially if you have like an iPad, because style is very visual. So where writing a list of the items missing in your wardrobe is useful and good and helpful, having a visual representation of what it is you like or what it is that's missing in your wardrobe, what you need or what you're being drawn to, has a big impact. So mood boarding, but using mood boards not just to pin together what you like from other people, but pin together or put together what you like in day-to-day life. Like my number one tip within this tip or tool is, if you're going to mood board from your own experiences. Take pictures of things you actually see in real life. Take pictures of something you saw on a subway, something you saw somebody else wearing, something like anything that you actually experience personally. If you are scrolling online, things that you encounter that make you think, oh my goodness, I really like to take a screenshot and put it in your mood board. Put it together, because they feel realer than the thousands and thousands of influencer pictures that are posted online every day. Not that those are not great inspirational pictures, but I think there's something about creating a mood board based on things you have found personally that will help develop this ability to be more intentional and pay attention to what is actually around you and what is within you. Something I heard most recently is something that Christy Tyler said in an interview. She said she tends to engage in trends through accessories. And I thought that was so interesting and genius, because it's like trends will come and go, but I think something that's a telltale sign of a trend oftentimes is an accessory. And I think it's an easy way to dabble in it and to still engage in it without committing a whole 45 pieces of space in your wardrobe to it. Yeah, it's more accessible. It's a cheaper way of trying things, and it's fun. It can make an outfit fun. Bring it to life again in a way that you maybe wouldn't think of it. Okay, so that is it for this video. It has been like a marathon trying to get to the end of this video, because my camera has literally died like 3 or 4 times in filming this, and I've had to stop and charge it every time. But I'm really glad I was able to like put this video together, and I really hope you found it useful. I found it really enjoyable to film, so I'm really hoping that these tips and this kind of like this thought process that I've just walked through with you was helpful. And if it was, please let me know in the comments below, and please let me know if you guys have any other like thoughts on this topic and this idea that personal style isn't personal anymore. And if you have any, you know, tips for how you are going about finding your own style or uncovering your own style, also leave it in the comments below, because I think it could really help somebody else. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.